The night the baby was born, no one spoke. Not because there were no words, but because every word felt dangerous. The cabin was small, built from old wood that had heard too many screams already. The candle on the table shook with every breath Clara took. Sweat ran down her face, mixing with tears she didn't bother to wipe away. She had done this before. She knew the pain. She knew what came after. But this time, something was different. When the baby finally cried, the sound cut through the room like a blade. One sharp cry, then silence again. Clara looked down. Her hands began to shake. The child in her arms did not look like her. The skin was pale, not light brown, not tan, pale, almost white. The eyes opened for a second, reflecting the candle flame, light, unnatural, almost gray. Clara didn't scream. She didn't smile. She pulled the baby closer to her chest, as if hiding it from the world, as if hiding it from God. She already knew what this meant. On this plantation, children were not just born, they were counted, listed, priced. A baby like this was not a miracle. It was a problem. By morning, the owner would be told. By night, the baby might be gone. In 1838, on sugar plantations outside New Orleans, silence was not peace. Silence was control. People learned early that survival depended on what you didn't say. Enslaved women gave birth without doctors, without records, without protection. Their children belonged to the system the moment they took their first breath. And the system had rules. One of those rules was simple and brutal. A child followed the condition of the mother. If the mother was enslaved, the child was enslaved, no matter the father, no matter the skin, no matter the eyes, even if the child looked white. That rule kept the entire structure alive. Land, wealth, power, inheritance, everything depended on it. But when babies like Clara's were born, the rule became inconvenient because a white-looking slave was dangerous. It raised questions. Questions led to whispers. Whispers led to investigations, and investigations to truths no one wanted exposed. Truths about who the fathers really were. Most people don't like to talk about how many enslaved children were born mixed. Not from love, not from choice, from violence, from power that knew no consequences. The plantation owner, his sons, overseers, visiting men, names that never appeared in records. The children were proof that could not walk freely through the world. So the system adapted. Thomas Belmont arrived that morning without urgency. He didn't rush. He didn't show anger. Men like him never did. Power made them calm. He stood in the doorway of the cabin, the smell of sugar and damp earth clinging to his coat. He looked at the baby for a long time, too long. Then he asked one question. Who knows? No one answered. They didn't need to. Belmont understood immediately. A child like this could not grow up on the plantation, could not be seen, could not be explained, but killing the child was risky, too visible, too messy. There was another option, one that had been used before. The baby would be removed, quietly, no paper, no witness, no name connecting her to Clara. Officially, the child would never exist. This was not rare. It was not accidental. It was an underground system that worked because everyone benefited, except the mothers. Plantation owners avoided scandal. Churches gained donations. Northern families gained children. And the state never had to acknowledge the lie holding it together. The baby was wrapped in clean cloth, cleaner than anything Clara owned. Belmont instructed that the child be taken before sunset. Clara was told the baby would be sent away. She was not told where. She was not asked for permission. That night, Clara didn't sleep. She counted her breaths. She memorized the weight of the baby in her arms, the sound of her breathing, the way her fingers curled around nothing, because by dawn, the space would be empty. And when the wagon finally came, Clara did not cry out. She didn't fight. Fighting got women killed. Instead, she did something worse. She watched. She watched the baby disappear down the dirt road, the wheels cutting lines into the earth that would be gone by morning. She didn't scream. She went silent. On paper, the baby was never born, but somewhere far away, that same child would be baptized with a new name, a clean name, a white name, and a new lie. In small churches across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Kentucky, priests performed quiet baptisms, infants brought in by men who asked no questions and expected no answers. The records listed the children as orphans, or abandoned, or found, never enslaved. The children were then sold north, not openly, quietly, through lawyers, ministers, and intermediaries. Wealthy families paid good money for healthy infants. Many had no idea the truth. Others suspected and chose not to care. These children grew up in homes with lace curtains and silverware. They learned to read, to pray, to belong. They never knew the woman who screamed their name into the dirt when no one was listening. As the years passed, the lie deepened. Children became adults. Adults married, had children of their own. Generations built on a stolen beginning. Some became respected men, judges, merchants, soldiers, people whose faces appeared in newspapers, whose names were engraved on tombstones, white tombstones. And still, the truth stayed buried. Until sometimes it didn't. There are recorded cases of deathbed confessions, elderly men and women who whispered to their children that they were not who they believed, that their mother had been enslaved, that their entire identity was borrowed. Most families destroyed those letters. Some never spoke of it again. A few tried to trace the past. They found nothing. Plantation records burned, church logs altered, census data erased or rewritten. History closed its doors. The mothers never forgot. Women like Clara lived long lives with a hollow place in their chest. Some were forced to raise other children. Some were sold away. Some died never knowing if their child survived. They were told the baby had died, but they knew better. They knew because no grave was shown, no body, no prayer, just silence. Silence was the system's favorite tool. After the Civil War, America rushed to move forward. Reconstruction, progress, healing. But healing requires truth, and this truth was too dangerous, because if acknowledged, it unraveled everything. It meant that whiteness itself was not pure, that slavery had reached into bloodlines still alive, that some of the very people writing laws had ancestors born in chains. So the story was buried deeper. Textbooks avoided it, museums ignored it, families denied it, and the children, now adults, were left with questions they didn't know how to ask. Even today, DNA tests quietly expose what records never will. Family trees that don't match, ancestries that raise impossible answers. Some choose to learn more, others choose silence, because silence still feels safer. Somewhere in America tonight, there are families who believe they know who they are, and somewhere else, there are unmarked graves of women who carried the truth alone. History did not forget them. It erased them. And the lie still breathes.